Welcome back to Unlock, Empower, Transform. I'm Che Blackmon, and today we're talking about why most organizational change initiatives have about the same success rate as New Year's resolutions. Spoiler alert, it's not because people hate change. It's because most leaders approach change like they're rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic instead of actually steering the ship. Today, I'm sharing the exact playbook for leading transformation that doesn't just stick, it becomes part of your organization's DNA. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. McKinsey says 70% of change initiatives fail. 70%. If your doctor had that failure rate, you'd find a new doctor. Yet organizations keep using the same tired change management approaches and wondering why they get the same tired results. You know the drill. Big announcement, town hall meeting, maybe some balloons, a snazzy PowerPoint about our exciting new direction. 6 months later, people are doing exactly what they were doing before, just with more meetings and maybe a new acronym to remember. Here's what nobody wants to admit. Most change initiatives fail because they focus on changing processes and structures instead of changing culture. It's like trying to teach someone to dance by rearranging the furniture. Sure, you've created space, but nobody knows the steps. In my experience transforming organizations, I've seen the pattern over and over. Leaders think change is about new systems, new technology, new org charts, but sustainable transformation, that's about people. It's about culture. It's about creating environments where change becomes the norm, not the exception. In Chapter 6 of High Value Leadership, I lay out a framework for sustainable change that actually works. It's not revolutionary because it's complicated. It's revolutionary because it's human-centered. The framework has 4 pillars that I call LAST, because transformation that lasts needs all 4. Leadership alignment, adaptive strategy, systems integration, and trust building. Leadership alignment isn't just getting executives to nod in the same meeting. It's about ensuring every leader, from the C-suite to team leads, understands not just what's changing, but why it matters to them personally. I've watched transformation efforts die because mid-level managers, the people who actually make things happen, were never truly bought in. They smiled in meetings and sabotaged in hallways. Adaptive strategy means accepting that your beautiful 5-year transformation plan will need to change by month 2. The organizations that succeed build in flexibility from day 1. They measure, adjust, iterate. They treat change like a GPS, recalculating the route, not like following a paper map from 1987. Systems integration is where the rubber meets the road. Your hiring practices, performance reviews, reward systems, they all need to reinforce the change. Otherwise, you're asking people to drive north while every road sign points south. And trust building? This is the foundation everything else rests on. Without trust, every change feels like a threat. With trust, people will follow you through uncertainty because they believe you're going somewhere worth going. Now let's talk about resistance, because if you're not facing resistance, you're not really changing anything, you're just rearranging. Resistance isn't the enemy. Resistance is data. It tells you where the real issues are, what people actually care about, and what fears need addressing. In my Shield Resilience Strategy Guide, I talk about how to navigate challenging situations with grace, and resistance to change is one of the biggest challenges leaders face. There are 3 types of resistors you'll encounter. The skeptics, who've seen too many transformations that transform nothing. The protectors, who are defending something they believe is valuable. And the exhausted, who simply don't have the energy for another corporate adventure. Each requires a different approach. Skeptics need evidence, quick wins that prove this time is different. Protectors need to understand what's being preserved, not just what's changing. The exhausted need support and realistic expectations about the pace of change. The biggest mistake I see, treating all resistance the same way, usually by trying to overcome it with enthusiasm or authority. That's like trying to open every door with the same key. Sometimes you need to knock, sometimes you need to find a window. In my high-value leadership intensive course, we dive deep into implementation strategies that I've tested in real transformations. Here's one you can start using today. It's called the Change Champion Network, and it's not what you think. This isn't about appointing the usual suspects, the always positive, always volunteering people who agree with everything. You want the influential skeptics, the informal leaders, the people others actually listen to in the break room. Here's your exercise for this week. Map your organization's real influence network, not the org chart, the real network. Who do people go to for the truth? Who do they trust when they're confused? Who can kill an initiative with one raised eyebrow? Once you've identified these people, don't try to sell them. Involve them. Ask them to help you identify what could go wrong. Make them co-creators, not consumers of change. Give them real influence over how the transformation unfolds. I've seen this single strategy turn potential saboteurs into genuine champions. Why? Because people support what they help create. It's basic psychology that most change initiatives ignore. Here's what separates transformation that sticks from transformation that's just another line on someone's resume, playing the long game. Sustainable transformation takes 18 to 36 months minimum to really embed in culture. That's not sexy. That doesn't fit in a quarterly earnings call, but it's reality. And here's the thing. You can have quick wins along the way. You should have quick wins, but don't mistake those wins for transformation. I've worked with organizations that celebrated way too early. 3 months in, metrics are up, everyone's excited, mission accomplished. Then they take their foot off the gas. 6 months later, they're back where they started, except now everyone's even more cynical. Real transformation is like getting in shape. You might see results in a month, but if you stop working out, you'll be back on the couch before you know it. The organizations that succeed treat transformation as a new way of operating, not a project with an end date. Look, leading transformation isn't for the faint of heart. It's messy, it's uncertain, and some days you'll wonder why you didn't just leave things alone. But when it works, when you see that culture shift, when innovation becomes natural, when people actually get excited about coming to work, that's when you know you've done something that matters. If you're ready to lead real transformation, not just organizational theater, I've got resources for you. Download my Shield Resilience Strategy Guide. It includes specific techniques for managing the stress and resistance you'll face as a change champion. Because let's be honest, leading change can be lonely work. The link is below. And tell me in the comments, what's the most ridiculous change initiative you've survived? We all have war stories. Sometimes laughing about the failures helps us prepare for success. If you're serious about leading transformation that actually sticks, grab my book, High Value Leadership, and watch for enrollment opening soon for my High Value Leadership Intensive, where we work through your actual transformation challenges, not theoretical case studies. This Tuesday, we're switching gears to talk about the forgotten generation, why Gen X leaders are essential for AI transformation. Because while everyone's focused on millennials and Gen Z, there's a generation of leaders perfectly positioned to bridge the human-AI divide, and they're being completely overlooked. Until then, remember, change isn't about making noise, it's about making difference. I'm Che Blackmon, and this has been Unlock, Empower, Transform. Now go transform something that matters.